Hi everyone. I just wanted to talk briefly about an addiction story, my addiction story, and the healing version from that, of how healing that has made such a difference in my life. 2 weeks ago in one day, I made a deal coming up for a little bit. Coming up to the 1st of July, I had promised myself and promised God that I would stop smoking. And I know, look, it wasn't just smoking. Like, I was smoking marijuana, I was vaping, and I was smoking cigarettes. To some people, I know that might still be a walk in the park, but for me, it was huge. And for me, it felt like a big weight, that was sort of weighing me down. And I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like a fraud. I felt like an imposter, because I'm also a health coach. And I want to move forward with things of helping people with their struggles. And I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that until I could help myself. And I went through that, and I dragged my feet, and I went kicking and screaming pretty much for quite a while. And it was throughout COVID that I got a vape given to me. Sort of prior to COVID, I was still dabbling, I might have a little joint here or there, or might have a little cigarette here or there, but it wasn't, and it was still bugging me. Like, I was still sort of seeing it, it's not quite the actions of a health coach. Though throughout COVID, I was living by myself, and I had everything and anything on board that I basically wanted. Though I I was pretty good. I was pretty good with it until I got given this bloody vape. And it ended up being this crutch that I didn't even know that was going to be. I did throw a few out because I had it in what was called the fun cupboard above my fridge. And so when I was coming back in from walks and things like that, and exercise walks and what have you, that I started to notice that I was looking up at this cupboard when I sort of came in. And so I threw a few of them out. And I threw one out and then obviously bought another one. And so on. So I threw about 3 of them out, though somewhere in there I still persevered. And then it became a boundary thing, or a lack of boundary thing, that you can just do it wherever, whenever. And so I really developed, this bloody habit that got a hold of me for a little bit. And I could feel my chest. I could feel when I was inhaling that it was like hitting the back of my throat. Not even just in a satisfying way, in a little bit of a painful way. And I was just like going, but I still wanted it. Not only did I still want it, I was using this freaking thing to self-soothe from the fact of having an addiction. It was just this crazy loop. And so I went with it for a while. And and I sort of gave up a few times. I gave up for a week at one stage. I gave up for 6 weeks at one stage. And then I sort of justified a few things and I let it back in. And I just wanted to quickly share, it was just 444. I just wanted to quickly share a little bit of how self-love, self-care and prayer really helped me. And just for the note of other people that are going through a similar thing. And what I keep saying sort of to myself and to others is, it does not matter what your thing is. It doesn't matter whether it's sugar, it doesn't matter whether it's games, it doesn't matter whether it's like, you know, drama, it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol, drugs, you know, whatever your thing is, it still feels just as heavy, I know. And we still move the goalpost a million times. We still, you know, just that whole create the art of justification so many times. And we let ourselves down so many times. And we self-abandon so many times. And the bittersweet, or the, you know, the bitter irony of that is, we are using this thing as a crutch. 9 times out of 10, it's an abandonment issue wound. So, and then we end up sort of self-abandoning because we can't bear the thought of being abandoned by somebody else. So we grab this little thing, or we grab that thing, or we go to that thing, all in the name of, because we don't want to be by ourselves. We don't want to be left alone. We don't want to be alone. So it's like that little thing that's going to be your companion through the hard times. And what I have to say, since like the last couple of weeks, and even leading up to it, even when I was still allowing myself to have this thing, I would notice I was really starting to pay attention when I was grabbing for this thing, whether it be a spike of whether it was from a thought or from something I was watching, something I just heard, and really started to break it down and really started to pay attention and awareness. And awareness is key, as well as our healing journey. And yeah, obviously honesty. And yeah, and you know, as something else that, because the word discipline was just coming to me then. And to be honest, for so long I was shying away from the word discipline because I thought it meant unfun. I thought it meant lack of freedom. But what I started to realize was this thing that had a hold over me for a period of time, I was not feeling free. And it wasn't representing freedom anymore, and as well as pleasure and instant gratification. And ADHD brain, like, we do tend to sort of, you know, we do get exhausted and we do get zapped. So this little thing was just like a little dopamine hit. And you don't realize how many times your thoughts are sort of circling, even when you kind of have them a little bit in check, how easy it is just to grab this little thing. And yeah, so for a while, quite a while there, it was still connected to pleasure. And then as I went on, I just started to think to myself, this is no longer connected to pleasure. This is like a personal jail. And yeah, so I just wanted to, I might add to this, I might, you know, do a little bit of whatever, recreate another one, but I just wanted to put these words here because I wanted to share a little bit of a celebration. I wanted to share a little bit of a peace story and an inspirational story and even an aspirational story, that it's doable and you can do it. It's but I will say that the biggest key thing that I took away from this, and you have a look, and something else that I was doing was Googling success stories of people that had gone through addiction and come out the other side. And I think every single story relayed back to God. Every single one, of all different walks of life, you know, all different walks of life. And so I would say that too. It's like anywhere there's a pain point, like a real pain point in your life, the only way back through that and to peace is through God. You know, whatever God means to you, whatever God means to you. Though prayer and meditation, going within and really starting to get to know yourself and self-nurture, self-care, self-love, you know. And I was doing a lot of self-care. I was doing a lot of self-love, acts of kindness to myself, though I was hurting myself on another note. And yeah, I'm 45 now, and it was really starting to stir up a lot of fear, because and they were showing me hospital bed and things like that, you know, going, you don't want this experience, so nip it in the bud now. And so, but even then I still didn't want to. I still did not want to, and I persevered, and I really did hold on to that thing and move the goalpost sideways. And I did go to cigarettes, because cigarettes, I gave up cigarettes once about 15 years ago, so I knew that I could do that. And I also knew that yeah, I had to go outside to smoke, and I hated the smell of cigarettes, so I still knew. And it wasn't as seamless, so I couldn't hide it. I couldn't hide it as much as I could a little vape, that unless somebody literally seen it up to your face, or, you know, blowing out the smoke, that yeah, you were pretty undetectable of your struggle and your weakness, to what I seen it as. And it's a tough one when you're sort of seeing yourself as weak, to then try and draw upon strength and an inner strength to get through this, you know, or to get through your thing and move past it. And that's why I'm saying, like, you really can't do it alone. You really do need to, it is an internal job, and you do need to make the final call, though you do need support. And I rang a couple of addiction hotlines, and I spoke to a couple of people, but even then I was squirming, because I was thinking, yeah, call them, have a chat, you know, get a little bit of you know, get a little bit of it off your chest and out your ego, basically. Though I still knew there's still just a voice on the other end of the line that can give words of advice, and half the things that they were telling me I was already doing. So I was at the last stages, sort of even putting it across the room, so if I wanted it, I had to walk over to it, or yeah, I was just trying to start to make it a little bit less convenient for myself. Yeah, so, but at the end of the day, you really do have to make the choice yourself. Though I will say, yeah, you really do need to call upon a higher power to help you, because, and it's a blessing. It really is. It is a blessing, because it's it equals a, yeah, like, it takes you to a love and support that you think you're by yourself, and you think that you got nobody that understands what you're going through, nobody gets it. And yeah, it does. It unites you in a way that is bigger than you. And it really does bring you back to your internal world and your higher self, and yeah, and something greater than us. So I am just going to leave that at that for now. Though I just wanted to share these words, and starting to trick yourself and change up your morning routine and things like that. And I was starting to push out those things in the morning, trying to do some sort of self-care routine, whether that be get on my mat, have a cup of tea, or things like that, before I brought those things in. And it's still, I'm pretty clear now, like, as in, I'm not being a fool to think that I'm invincible this time around. Though I feel pretty clear, like my brain feels pretty focused on the end goal and that I don't want to go back there and things like that. Though, yeah, and even marijuana, I took marijuana out of the equation because I wanted to be with my emotions and I wanted to be with my feelings and I wanted to get to know myself and feel the feelings, you know, and deal with it rather than keep dodging it, keep avoiding it, keep sort of, you know, like what we're saying, moving the goalpost, justifying. And as well, once you shift your state of mind, and I'm doing dry July as well. I'm not much of a drinker, but I put that in the equation too, because I still know that after 3 or 4 glasses that I could potentially think it's a good idea to just have 1 cigarette. Or yeah, I still do have a vape in the drawer at the moment, so I just want to stay away from them. And yeah, and it was a scary feeling. It was a scary feeling out of control of your own body and your own mind. And it's refreshing on this side of the fence. Yeah, taking back my power a little bit, but knowing it's not all up to me, and there really is a higher power that we can call upon for help and assistance and guidance and love and support. So do it. Good luck, and you really can do it. So, and another thing that I just wanted to say is be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Compassion, nurture, because you sort of think abandonment issues, half these things, majority of these things have come from when we are babies and small children. So you really do need to nurture your inner child and be gentle with yourself like you would a child learning, because it is a form of learning and it's a form of unlearning. So you really do need to be gentle and be patient, and don't try and do it in one day, because you really will just upset yourself. And I'm not giving you a whole pass for justification. Still, don't let yourself it's a fine line, you know, but it's doable. And it's a fine line between pleasure and pain, but it's a fine line between justification and allowing yourself with awareness, looking at yourself from the outside looking in, and observing your behavior, observing your actions, and yeah, just like, and tying the things in together when you're grabbing for this, when you get triggered, you know, when yeah, exactly that, when you get triggered and you go to gravitate for this thing, whatever it is, again, whatever it is, it's all avoidance. And another thing that I just want to say is, yeah, like, when you're a good person and you have good things that you want to do with this world, it's the perfect distraction from a place that doesn't want you to actually get to that place. So you really do need to call upon a higher power for love and protection and support. So do what you got to do and be patient, and you will do it. I have faith in you.